and it and it kind of had the website had resources to educate people of all ages on things like self-esteem and bullying in the online world. And I feel like because it said that 70% of women they found that 70% of women don't feel represented in advertising. So I feel like that was important because that way you don't alienate an audience, so that everyone kind of feels like they're represented. I just thought that was important, and also just getting feedback from people just so you know how to appeal to them.
Yeah, I was watching the ad for Always, the one that was linked in the email, and I just I felt like it was empowering, and it was they're always all throw like a boy, but instead it was throw like a girl, yeah, and oh wait, hold on, okay, yeah, and I guess that would make me want to buy the product, because if they believe in these type of things, I don't want to support that company.
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay? Is the connection, yeah, I don't know. My connection's not the best. Should I talk or no? It's still too bad. Hello?
Yeah, well, maybe you could
Alright,
type it in the chat.
You could hear some of it, but it's a little compromised.
Jesse, did you want to say something?
Oh, Christy, I think you can go if you wanted to.
Anybody else wanna?
Yeah, I would go.
Yes.
So I remember this commercial that this advertisement commercial that I watched on TV, which was have you guys seen that commercial don't text while crossing the street? Yeah, that one's really grabbed my attention because it made you think about the actions you have made, and of course it just made you think about the actions you will make because it could literally make a huge change in within a second. So that one really grabbed my attention because I feel that's what a lot of people do, including myself sometimes. But after watching that type of advertisement, I stopped being on my phone while crossing the street because I don't, because people I guess people just tend to be on their phones and just don't pay attention, and that can literally cost your life.
Thank you. That's a really good one. Yeah, you Amy?
Oh no, I was just gonna say it reminded me of the stop smoking ads and all that. I think what was really I guess a good tactic was to scare people. It sounds bad, but it does help scaring people in a way. It depends on the product or whatever you want to send across. But I just thought that was really interesting.
Yes, all the Truth Initiative ads are oh my goodness. I remember this guy who's at a convenience store and he pulled out his tooth. I was oh my goodness. And that's scarred my brain from when I was 8. So
I think these are really great examples of effective social media campaigns or social campaigns. So I guess, why do you guys think that they're so effective? What are the tactics that are being used? Anthony, you said the don't text while crossing. I know that brought up one of the commercials for the cars where it has the automatic brake. So it's like their family and I guess someone was crossing the street and wasn't looking. I think that's what it was, but it might not be it. Or they were gonna like crash into another car and it like automatically braked. And like the parents it shows you like what would have happened, or kind of in slow motion, like what it was like when they were braking, or like what it could have been if they didn't have the automatic brake. And that strikes a chord with you because it's like family and it's personal, and everyone has a family, whether you chose them or not, or just people that you hang around who are like family. And just like the threat of, or the possibility of that being threatened, makes you second guess, like, do I need a car with an automatic brake? If I'm not quick enough, if my foot can't get to the brake fast enough. Well, actually, I don't drive, so I don't know if you pull the brake or if, like, you know what I'm saying. But like, what makes these commercials so, I don't want to say personal, but what are the tactics that they are using that make them effective, and how can we use them when we're trying to get young people engaged? Like, are we scaring people into voting? Like, what are we doing? What works?
I think what really works is that it brings like you back into the equation. Like it brings it really personal. Like for the Spotify thing, it gave you something. For the IHOP thing, like they like asked you to like talk about it and like what do you guess? Like what's your guess? So, and like with the texting while driving, it's like it's bringing you back into the equation. Like what if this happened to you? So I think like when you like strike the person, it becomes more real and more personal and more engaging and entertaining.
Teens in like AOC's video, or people who live in the projects, like the setting was in Jeremy D. Williams. But in the Ronald Reagan campaign that we watched during the Day of Action, his was more targeted towards like the American dream and like suburban households and things like that. Both of them have like two main aspects, but at the end of the day, you just really need to know your target audience and what appeals to them. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We will get into that actually after this. Excited to talk about targeting your audience and making sure you're sending out the right message, and how to use different types of techniques to do that.
And last, but certainly not least, I think we have Michelle.
Okay. So the campaigns that I read about was Donald Trump, because I don't know why. And about Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, the Courage to Change. And so like answering the questions. Wait, do I have to answer like all the questions here that we had, like the 3 questions, or no? Okay. Anyway, so like for the impact, I kind of went for I'm so sorry. I went further with the Courage to Change, and it had a really big impact because they're like, it's really brutal, like to know like what zip code you have and like where you live. It determines your destiny, and I didn't think that was really fair, because I feel like we have like much more to do and like more desires to make a better change than just like where we stand. You know what I mean? And also she was saying like as time keeps going on, your income will stay the same, your healthcare will have much less of it, and it's not really fair. So I kind of really like that ad the most, and it really should have a bigger impact on us, because we really should encourage political change. Okay, thank you, I'm done.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. You guys all did such amazing work, and I'm super excited to go forward in our work today in figuring out messaging, and also a little itty bitty bit of teaching logistics / planning. So right now, I think we are going to, well, yeah, I think we ended a little early, actually. I think next is like the mini presentation by Yessie.
So we can go ahead and actually talk about what work we want to do.
Yeah, I
takes not so much time. It would be nice to like put it in a document or something, so we have something planned out. So,
does it affect you more or less?
I think it like engaged me just because it was so different, since it was talking about something so serious, and then you hear like a very joking kind of tone. It's just like, okay, what is going on? Yeah.
I mean, I think like partly like the appeal of the ad is that it's mocking Michael Dukakis. It's mocking the other person, right? Like like this guy supports weekend prison passes, and you have like this guy Willie Horton who like escaped jail after murdering a 1-year-old boy, and did this. Like I think if you put all those, it's a very concise ad. And I'll also point out another thing is that it's very, I mean, it's 1988, so the technology isn't exactly up to par, but it's like, it's very simple. It's just words and pictures on a screen. And so what does that say though? If it's just words and pictures on a screen, there's no fancy CGI or graphics, what does that tell you about the words that they're telling you?
I'm assuming they believe the words they're telling us. It's very convincing, and it's easy to grab the other person's attention.
Exactly. And Devin's also pointing into it. It's serious and people should pay attention. If you see a campaign and they don't use any fancy imagery, they don't use any fancy lettering or any fancy like graphics, and you can assume that whatever they're telling you is serious enough that you can sort of pay attention to that, and that sort of lets you know what their message is. With that, I think, Nusa, I think I'll show the Daisy ad now.
Yes, over it.
Okay, because that one's also another good one. So that ad I just showed you was from George H.W. Bush's campaign in 1988. And so the next one is quite a few years earlier. This is the 1964 campaign against, actually, I'll just show you guys the ad.
Led classrooms. And going into politics wasn't in the plan. But after 20 years of the same representation, we have to ask.
In terms of like that topic, so maybe like a statistic, so I feel like statistics are really like powerful, because a lot of people don't know, like they don't understand how serious something is until they look at like the numbers. So maybe like that, or maybe starting with like a story, because a lot of like personal stories can like help people like relate to like, you know, that person and like kind of like sympathize for that situation, even though they may have like never gone through it, or like, you know, just don't think it's a problem. Just like hearing about somebody else's experiences with that issue can like, you know, make people start to care about it.
So we're gonna reconvene in like a minute or two, but does anyone have anything else that they would like to say?
I feel like I've seen the trying to make a statement, like what we were talking about, like for a while now, but it comes down to like how they're trying to be like trying to grab your attention, because I know the whole thing about like you're not supposed to post a bikini picture and then caption it like, oh, Black Lives Matter, arrest everyone that needs to be arrested. Like that's not what, like it's like, oh, look at me, but also focus on, like, I don't think that's right. But I feel like when it's like a little like, I don't know, it's like pretty complicated, because it's also really weird if you're like, oh, Fenty dropped these lipsticks, and like the next slide is, I don't know, it's just, I feel like it's better if you don't go in that way, because it's just messy.
Yeah, to add on to that, like I think something interesting to consider is like there's been like a lot of conversation about like how like posting like, you know, for example, like the video of George Floyd's murder is just like kind of exploitative and like is also just traumatizing for a lot of people to watch, especially if there's no warning. So I think like there's definitely like a fine line to tread about like when you're being exploitative and when you're and like when you're using something for the right reasons, and also being like, you know, respectful about it. So I think that's also something important to consider, like how you find that balance, and like really making, because for a lot of people that video was very effective in getting them to feel passionately about the cause, but at the same time, like it led to like, it's probably like, it just like, it's very traumatic for people to watch. So I think it's just important to be also considered.
Right.
So sorry about that. 1 second. Okay, beautiful. So you all should be able to see this, the doc on the screen right now. And also, since we just shared it with you, y'all have access to edit it and all of that. But we're also going to be going through it together. So, does anybody know how I can close the thing on the left where it says favorites and stuff? Because I'm not able to share it and see it at the same time for some reason. If not, then Christine, can you share it instead? Because
Okay,
I don't know.
share it.
Thank you.
Can y'all see?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So question number 1, we have which platforms does our action group want to utilize to deliver our message? So I see Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, beautiful. Facebook. Okay, so we have all the platforms on here. Reddit. Okay.
Try to limit our platforms because we're not gonna do all of that. So does anyone have like a top 1 or 2 or maybe even 3?
I feel like Instagram is the best one because I feel like it's easiest to use, and like TikTok is like the youth, Facebook is maybe like older people, either Instagram or YouTube, but I feel like YouTube, it'll be like harder since you gotta make like long videos sometimes. That's gonna be like eye-catching.
I think that we should use mainly Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube because based on like a study says that most members of Gen Z gravitate towards those 3 platforms.
Well, I think we should mostly use Instagram and YouTube. So I feel like Instagram can be really eye-catching, and it's like, you know, I feel like a lot of people are on it. And then with YouTube, it's like we don't necessarily have to make long videos, but we can make more informative ones. So I feel like we can like merge them together. So Instagram can be like, oh, hey, look, learn about voting and why it matters. And then YouTube can be like, hey, if you want to learn more specifically why, and like, you know, more about it, there you go, longer video.
When it comes to YouTube, do you guys think that we should make our own videos or should it be more of supplemental information?
Well,
I think
if we were, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, if we were to make our own video, I'm just like a little bit confused as to how that would happen, just because we aren't all together. And I mean, like, how would we like? I guess, are we gonna be making our content together? Like, is that the plan for the next lessons or like the next days?
I think we could do animation, like animated videos that like are catchy to the eye, and like we could just use voiceover.
Okay, but like I know, but my question is like how? Like, are we doing that together and like now? Like,
this is just a plan going forward, but I understand your question. That's why I'm kind of like on the fence about YouTube, because I feel like
Instagram is a good way where we can do like Instagram takeovers. So like a person can speak on a specific thing and make their own video. And that way it's not like confusing with the switch of voices and the switch of faces. Rather than like YouTube, we'd have to try to like, do transitions and just make it flow and everything like that.
One thing I'd say to the question that you asked about, like, how will you do it? So at next week's teach-in, you want to have at least a representation of what you're going to do. So let's say you decided that what your group really wanted to do was a YouTube video. You could show like a storyboard of it if you didn't feel like you would have time to make the YouTube video. But you want to then commit to when you're going to do it. Like, we really do want these things to happen. And so if it can't happen by next week, have a plan for how it can happen over the weeks to come.
Okay, so for this first one, let's be realistic here. How many people like actually use Instagram to learn information? You could just say me or raise your hand so I can get a visual. Like, raise your hand in the screen, y'all, because I can't see the participants.
Or if you want to react with like a thumbs up or something.
Yeah. Okay, so I see two.
Regarding our gender justice issue. So we just want to get that finalized because we have to present that for the teach-in. I think we can also put that, after the meeting's over, we can put that in the Slack.
Yeah, I'm putting it in here right now. Just in case anyone doesn't have, I'm going to try to specify like what each group means and kind of like what the goals are of the group. But if you do have, I don't think so. If you do like have a preference already in mind, please put it in this chat and we'll take note of that. And I think today, like Hukata said today, we are going to focus on social media and social media, like, what is it? The social media plan?
Campaign.
Yeah, the social media campaign.
Yeah, like strategizing.
That we'll all do together and instead of like separately.
Okay, so can we just solidify the people that are going to work on the pitch? That way we have clear roles established.
The preview because we only have a week until the teach-in, but we can't just be like, oh, we're gonna focus on like border security. Oh, we're gonna talk about like how long the immigration, how long the line to like immigrate here takes. Because we've been like, I'll be honest, we've been saying that for weeks. Like that's nothing new, and so like we have to come up with like, instead of just ICE, let's talk about like the percentage of ICE officers that are abusing their powers and like the number of like the ICE budget and whether it should be cut or like paused, like something like that, right? Again, just something to keep in mind.
Okay, so with ICE, what other things do we want to focus on? And when we talk about, sorry,
never mind.
Immigrants. And when we talk about ICE, do we want to talk about the abuse of ICE? Do we want to talk about ICE involvement in major cities? Do we want to talk about children being affected by ICE? What specifically do we want to focus on when we talk about ICE?
In my opinion,
you could go.
In my opinion, I feel like we should focus on the effects that ICE has on the children they detain, because I've seen like a lot of videos that show how kids are reunited with their parents and like they seem so like really disconnected from them, and like their parents have to break down while their children like they don't know what to do at that point.
Okay. Maria also says separating families. That's a good point. ICE has detained children.
I was gonna say that how like they feel threatened too. Like everything, they have to think twice before doing anything. So I think like for them to not being able to like express themselves fully is one of the things too. Like they don't go in a lot of directions just because they have the fear of deportation. So I think that like the struggles, like the basic struggles, they I don't know, they just don't do a lot of things, like basic things. I don't know how to word it like properly, but like.
Okay.
Let me know if when I'm saying like texting, sorry, what I'm typing sort of represents what you said.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else that we want in reference to ICE that we want to look at? And by the way, this will be like a outline of our social media campaign in the fall. So is there any legislation anyone can think of that coincides with this at all?
Or legislation that you'd like to see that may not exist yet, but that we need to advocate for.
Yes, exactly. Maria says we can talk about new immigration laws.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Okay.
I feel like we should also like inform people, you know, like Maria said that like make threads about what, like I feel like we should have like different threads about like different topics, like DACA. I think a lot of people don't know what that is. Like I didn't know what that was either. So I think it's really important to at least inform people.
I agree. Okay. Inform people about DACA. Do we want to make a separate Instagram page, by the way?
I think we should make a separate page because there's like a lot of like information about immigration, and I don't think one post like is gonna like say a lot about it. So I feel like we should make another page.
Fantastic. Okay. Maria says pretty much detailing the immigration process. Okay, in reference to the inform people about DACA. Okay. Cool. All right. So. Okay. So, Frank, do you mind if we separate? Because I'm seeing two threads here. I'm seeing ICE, and then I'm seeing DACA and paths to citizenship. So that'd be like two topics.
Right. Yep. I'm gonna bolt those two.
Cool.
I think another thing I'm thinking is, I love that you guys are suggesting these. I would also like to give you guys homework, or I know that we don't like the term homework around here, but like I would also encourage you guys to. Sorry, encourage is not as good as I would like you. No. Could you guys please like go home and like after the session like actually like do some research and like find some articles, some studies on like what, for example, what was DACA? Like what is a summary of DACA and what is the current controversy surrounding it? What does the immigration process to the United States actually entail? That last one, by the way, is a doozy because I've done some research on that one and it sucks. But like for example, find out how long like immigrants in this country takes. And use the Cato article that I sent in the Slack channel as a starter. If anyone's interested, like I think Maisha and Yesenia, you guys were suggesting this, right? What exactly are like ICE's specific effects on detained children? Like how many children have been detained at facilities? What is the treatment of? What is the state or condition of their treatment? And how many families exactly are being separated each year, for example? And I think Maria was the one who mentioned new immigrant bills, right? So what new bills concerning immigration have been introduced in the House or Senate this year? And what is the status in Congress right now?
Frank,
yeah.
To go on what you were saying, someone suggested in the chat to divide the research. So if you want, we can actually assign people to look at stuff. Also, I advise you guys to look at Netflix's documentary, Immigration Nation. It's pretty harsh, pretty like triggering, I would say, as well, but it does present the reality of the situation. So if you are interested, do that. But yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, can we actually do that now? Like assign people to these topics. Okay. I think like 4 of us are missing today, Sanda. I think I'm not exactly sure who, but I know. Yeah, that's weird. Like 4 of us are not here today.
Gabriella here.
Yeah, Gabriella, Marwa. Yeah, there are quite a few of us who are not here today, but that's okay. We can catch them up.
I will follow. Well, here's the good news. You can assign them what you don't want. Those who are here get first dibs, and we'll follow up with them to assign them to the whatever people don't want.
Yeah, it's a privilege of presence. So who would like to do ICE? I think we should give 2 to each person. Assign 2 people to each topic. So who suggested effect that ICE has on its detained children?
I think that was Maria.
I did.
And
or who would like to do this one, for example?
I would.
Yesenia? All right, awesome. And can I get someone else to also help out Yesenia? Actually, I'm gonna like choose the first like people to do these first. So who wants to do separation of families?
I could do that one.
I can.
And that is.
Oh.
Who was that?
Karen.
Karen, awesome.
I'd be down to like help her out if you need me to.
All right, awesome.
That works.
So Karen and Maisha, limited freedoms of immigrants due to fear of being deported. It's just this one. Or let me just like broaden it to lives of how undocumented immigrants are living in the United States.
I can do that one.
All right, thank you, Charbonne. Sorry. There we go. New immigrant bill. I think that was Maria, right?
Yeah, that's what it says in the chat.
Yeah. And details concerning the immigration process. So we'd like to work on those.
I can do it.
And that was Derek, right?
Yep.
Thank you. I think we have like 10 people here today. So does anyone who hasn't been assigned to one of these yet? I'm also gonna put DACA and passive citizenship under like that's under like immigration process. So you can check out DACA and like so Derek, you can check out like DACA as well as the immigration process. And so I think the people who have not yet been assigned. So Devin, what would you like to work on here?
Yeah, I'll help Derek out with that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I was just going to say that I think DACA and passive citizenship might be a lot, especially if it's just the immigration process. So
that is interesting.
Then, but
what?
Because if we look at the immigration,
Okay, so
all the visas, right, and then we have DACA, and then like all the
yeah.
way to DACA, the activism, the consequences, the college-related issues. Yeah.
Yeah, Devin, would you mind working on that one then? Would you mind working on like just DACA?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. So I think the only person who hasn't been assigned yet is Anna, right?
Yeah, but then we also have Gabriella, Marwa, and Tiffany who are not here, and Daniela.
Right. So Anna, which one would you like to work with? Anna?
Sorry, I'm just looking through. I'm not sure yet.
That's okay.
I'm not really sure. Like whatever one, it doesn't really matter.
Okay. Sherry Bonu, would you like help with yours?
I don't mind.
All right. So Anna, you can work with Sherry Bonu on lives with undocumented immigrants in the U.S. All right. Awesome.
Okay,
So this
sounds
figure
good.
it out. Does anyone have any questions about what we're doing here? Again, it is a crime to ask. That is my new saying.
Wait, we should also format like how are you gonna accumulate this information? What are you doing? And so what
yes.
I think that we should do, or at least I can do, is send into the chat some leading questions that you guys can look into regarding your issue. Then have one document where you have all out. So I'll start a Google Doc right now and give you guys a link.
This is supposed to be on social media, but we turned out to be incorporating our actual work, which is really good. Good. This is a good sidetrack, unlike the other ones.
Okay, so how will we incorporate passion, humor, anger, and or love into our social media campaign? So what are we going to do to incorporate emotion? What order will we present this in? Well, we're not really presenting it. It's just so you guys have the information.
Yeah.
Unless you'd like to meet another time and talk about it, which we can do as well.
Yes, sure.
I'd like to say, we can also add, information and protest, just everything in like one spot.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with this. I just didn't know that it was called Linktree. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what it was for a while too.
Oh my god, I think I'm getting old now.
Okay, do we want to make our own hashtag or use one or?
You guys can even pitch an Instagram name that you guys would like to do.
But we'll just go back to that just for the sake of time.
We'll
So
put it on this also next week, so don't worry about it, guys.
yeah. So number 2 is what is the story of our action group, or what is the story our action group wants to tell about how our issue affects them and how voting can create positive change, and what are our key messages. So I left a little comment here too, because we have acknowledged the story, but we haven't acknowledged how voting can change that story, like how it can change the trajectory of things. So right here we have the story being the cost of living has been increasing and low income is not enough to sustain for high rent and healthcare costs. Government aid is minimal, wage inequality, criminal justice inequality, education inequality. And the other is the story of the oppressed, of the people we love and ourselves who have been forgotten and unseen. So does anyone want to pitch in on how voting can change that story that we have?
Oh, Anthony says vote for local reps who are with our who are with our issues. And Angelina says to let our voices be heard. So as we work on this, going into next week, you guys are also going to be doing a presentation on it. So we'll discuss the presentation probably when you guys already have this all done. But just keep in mind for now.
Yeah. So I just want to make that, highlight that comment and really just allow us to make that change. So we'll just move on and go to number 3, and it's how we incorporate passion, humor, awe, anger, or love in our message, or just in Instagram too. So I can show you a post really quick, or an Instagram that I think does this really well. Like there are pictures and stuff, and it's called Anarchy, or where here. Like they have all these different photos, and it's like really blunt, and it's like direct. But these are things that they show when, I guess, like I think it's a good example of like showing what love or any of these different emotions are. They're really straightforward, but I think they're good to know.
No, Emily likes that account.
Yeah.
Yeah, just letting you know, Steve.
So the ones that have been listed, it's with your help we can elect representatives that not only look like us, but share the same struggles and burdens we the people face, but it all starts with you. Vote. And the other one is we can use figurative and poetic language and work on the specific wording of our message. I think they're both a really good point. I just want to highlight this though. Oh, whoops. Accidentally put hide, but I think this is a really good point. And the next is we can also use more emotional language to try to better connect with our audience. Give things that young people can relate to. Like having segregated schools, working jobs, and still having schoolwork. And the next is maybe doing a video that highlights experiences of one person in one day. Like that. One of the ads here that we've watched, or not the ad, but the social media campaign about the Save Syrian Children. And giving real life examples, making the problems a little bit more, I guess, like relatable, and surprising statistics. We can also show the difference in education of public versus private. And yeah, I won't read the rest, but
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Because if we're talking about voting and candidates, we want to share some intellect on those candidates and make sure
And
everybody knows.
we can even pick different candidates in the ones that we did or the same ones. Honestly, it's all up to you guys. We have the time for it. Yeah, we can see like who.
But
what.
also be realistic.
Yeah, that too. Remember, we have a limited amount of time, and even though we may have another session, the work done in between now and the other session will have to be done on your own time. So let's remember that.
Do y'all want to specifically, what community? I think we should just focus on one community because I don't want that to take long to figure out. So what community y'all want to focus on? For air pollution and asthma increase, the few communities that I know are the Bronx, which was majorly impacted and still impacted. But now we have Sobro, so whatever. Which is the South Bronx, gentrified.
We could also like you guys
or
have,
Brooklyn too.
Even if like if you guys wanted to, well, we've been doing environmental racism for the longest time. We could do Flint, Michigan, if you want. If you want to be, if you really want to talk about it, or North Dakota with the Dakota Access Pipeline. There was just like a huge oil spill in Russia. I mean, listen, we can do communities closer to us because it's a little bit more relevant, but and
it's easier to grasp the audience.
Yeah,
it's up to you strategically. But if you do it for the community, then we'll eventually do Michigan. Like I will continue with YVote work. So if you're interested in that, we can collaborate on that. But I think for right now, y'all have to decide what community y'all want to do.
Yeah, Russia would be hard.
I mean, I think it's important to know that environmental disasters are out there and they're happening.
And they're still affecting us.
Yeah.
Because guess what? That ocean is there. All the bodies of water are connected.
Yep.
I feel like, I'm sorry.
No, you can go.
I just, I feel like because we live in New York City and we tend to think of ourselves as a very progressive state, a lot of the people in New York City don't consider ourselves to be like an issue. Like we don't really think about climate because like we aren't Russia with huge oil spills. We aren't like the Dakota. We don't have like the Dakota Access Pipeline stuff. So it'd be like interesting if we centered us on like local issues that people are probably not already aware about because they're not like covered by the news. And I know there are websites out there that like this issue, there's this specific issue with like schools in certain like areas, largely lower income communities, where they're usually located within, I think like a certain distance of like highways, and that means they have like more air pollution, which means higher asthma rates. And with children in that school, they have but they at the same time they have bad ventilation systems and things like that. And there are websites that literally give you the exact schools who are in those like I guess quote unquote problem areas. So we can kind of like specifically target those if we're like looking for a really specific target. And I'll try to find those websites. Sorry.
It's okay. I definitely agree with Kellen because right now I'm on a website by AmericanProgress.org, and it's talking about like lead poisoning and also higher exposure rates to air pollution. And the races that they're most mentioning about are like the African Americans and then Hispanics too. So I think we could pinpoint more on them. And they also mentioned like Bronx, New York. So that's
that's in New York, we should definitely like pinpoint on somewhere that's close to us so everyone could relate to that.
So which community? Because we have a couple minutes.
African Americans and Hispanics.
Okay.
If everyone's all right with that.
I think we have to think about, because we're thinking about the candidate scorecard, community based on geographic features. So can we dig a little deeper? Like what exact location, maybe? Maybe predominantly Latinx and African American neighborhood.
We could think about different districts too.
Yeah.
Let's see.
If y'all don't know it, it's okay. Just say it. So we can go back to it because I think we're running out of time.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now, so maybe we can like go back to it.
Okay, cool. I drop it down in the chat because Sandra will send me the chat transcripts, or it'll be in a file on Google probably. Or I'll screenshot. But also, y'all said would like to portray how voters should analyze what candidates may contribute to the fight against climate change. I think that goes into the connection of making scorecards for these candidates. Correct me if I'm wrong. Alexa, I think you wrote that. Is Alexa here? Or was it Alexandra? I think it was Alexa. She just left, I think, maybe. I got disconnected. So yeah, I think that can go under candidate scorecard again. And then we have talk about how voting for the right person, which is also the scorecard. Awesome. Y'all are all on board. So when it comes to emotion, I see all for emotion and anger and passion. Almost all of them. So what do y'all want? What do y'all want as a collective? Let's figure it out. So who wants all? Put up your hands or thumbs up. I mean, we can use different ones if y'all like, but it's up to you. What do y'all think? Whoever wrote this section, Maisha, Raina, Kellen, Alexa. I don't know if it's Alexa or Alexandra, because there was an Alexa here, right?
Yeah, that was Alexa.
Okay, cool.
I feel like we could transition from like one emotion to another. So maybe we could start with like sadness, because of like we could start off with a story of how someone was impacted by the climate, and then later we could turn it into like awe, talking about some solutions like Greta Thunberg, how she promoted awareness, and then like even before that we could also do anger to show like what's wrong with our system.
Right. Yeah.
And like what needs to be changed as well.
Who likes that idea? Maybe start with a little sadness, to kind of grasp the attention of the audience. Fatu, you said passion, so you can talk about that as well, because we can make several posts, obviously.
I like how Maisha said we should like go to different emotions. Like after she said, "Oh, I feel like passion should like go after that," because like if you like, I don't know, like when I'm watching videos and they're inspirational, it like makes me like feel like actually feel for the video. So yeah.
I found the neighborhoods in this website. It said Red Hook, Williamsburg, and the South Bronx for housing, and I don't know, I can put this website in the chat. It's really long.
Sounds good.
We also have the document where we did our research on. I'm not sure if you still have it. I can send the link again, just so we have all of our sources in one place, just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think we have a Google folder. I haven't shared it with y'all. But we should put everything in that Google folder if possible. I mean, it's possible, but so yeah, I really like the idea of the sad, then the awe, then the passion, because like Fatu was saying, a lot of people want to be inspired by this and try to have faith and hope that change can happen, because a lot of people lose faith in any change for the environment, unfortunately. Like I've seen it before. Like my cousin tells me, you think you're solving something, but you're doing something little, but like the little things matter. Like recycling and stuff. So yeah. So I like these ideas. So the next question is, what do we want people to see and do in relation to our issue? Some people said maybe a gift, bold colors, one phrase, so that the audience won't forget. I like that. Pictures of graphs, that's a good idea. Visuals are very important. The poll questions, what is your biggest concern involving climate justice? I actually did a poll on that, similar to that, so I can share the responses. I try to do almost every issue group. I think I forgot one. To what degree is climate justice a top priority? That's a good question. You know, like when you're walking and someone says, do you care about the environment? And like a lot of people don't stop, but then you feel like stopping because you do care about the environment, but you gotta go. So figuring that out as well. How to really grasp the audience. So the polls ideas are good. And then when it comes to being transparent, authentic, clear, and relevant. Someone said show how it relates to their daily life. That's very important. Fatu said, would a 1 minute video with everything in it be hard? Can you explain that a little?
Like, we're gonna, okay, our platform, hold on. Our platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Like, those are places where videos can be presented, and I feel like people wouldn't want to like read, like they'll just pass by it. But if it's a video, I feel like they'll want to like watch it, you know.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, especially even the 1 minute. It doesn't matter because IGTV, you can put longer than 1 minute. I think 1 minute because we want the attention span of people.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you're saying 1 minute as the whole post, like what we're making our post about? That's a good idea.
One, because the attention span, like you said, and two, because TikTok, the max amount of time a video could be played for is 1 minute, 60 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, that's something. Did you add that to the doc?
I'm about to right now.
Okay, I think I see it or no. Give a very clear call to action. I like that one. Someone said example, sign up to vote, click a link to do it in 5 minutes. We've done that before, so we have a lot of resources for that, how to like put it up. I don't know how many of you use Canva or have you used Canva or maybe Adobe if you're very.
I've used Canva.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I love it. It's so cool and it looks great after you finish doing it.
It's aesthetically pleasing sometimes. So we can use Canva, especially for like the 1 minute video, Fatu. I've done videos on Canva actually, and it's like really cool, the animation. Although I wish there was a little more animation. So I might switch, like if you do a PowerPoint presentation, you could also just hit record and the animations are better. But I just learned that there's way more features. I knew there was more features, but I learned that I could just record my PowerPoint presentation. So we can also do that if you want to jazz it up even more. Give links that are easy. So maybe creating a card code or a link tree which was also part of my my presentation on Saturday. If y'all.
Does anyone else want to volunteer? Y'all know I will pick y'all. Come on.
I think Talene should speak.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You. Anyone else?
Okay, fine. I'll speak.
We can have one more person. Or does anyone want to nominate anyone?
I think Catherine should speak too.
Catherine, you're the third person.
You're nominated. Do you accept?
Yeah.
Okay, so I sent the link in the chat, so y'all are free to edit. I'll just screen share it if anybody wants to share and tell us all like how we want to introduce ourselves, like why does this matter, call to action, all of that is beautiful.
We can't edit the link.
Stephanie, I bet you feel like me right now.
Yeah, oh my face. I'm so sorry. 1 second, please.
Rohit, for social media, it's basically up to you guys. So what do you think would be best? It's basically appealing to people your age. So what you would like to see is what I think you should include.
I have an idea for the social media. Like if you're like kind of like curating like a post, there's this like free online website called Canva, and you can make like really good posts. Like you can like choose like Instagram posts. Like you can choose like different formats. They have like different templates, and you can like insert pictures, and it's all free and like really easy to use and like really easy to make it look super professional. So if you guys like want like that's just like a recommendation. Like if you're like curating a post, like you can use that.
Can you guys see the Global Girlhood Instagram page?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys can see it? Okay. Yeah, we can obviously see that.
There's also this woman I follow on Instagram. Wait, never mind.
No. Please share out.
Well, I remember seeing a post about her, but I'm not sure if it was for gender equality or Black Lives Matter. I feel like it just says like cool stuff, but I can't find it. Wait. Anyway.
Anybody? Oh, think of like a lot of the grassroots organizations that you may know. I know Jessica put a couple of them. Thank you, Angela Davis. Thank you, Jesse Santarez.
So wait, can we like talk about like any organization?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, like I'm part of another organization. It's called Center for Anti-Violence Education, and like it's like its main focus is like on like women and like people who identify like in like the LGBTQ like community. So like I guess like I can work with that.
What was the name of that again? I'm sorry.
I'll type it in the chat.
Yeah, Chelsea, I was just about to say that. Like, a lot of Instagram pages, I'm pulling it up right now. So I know I follow the female lead. I can't even. So I follow the female lead. That's a good one. Feminist is also a good one. Femi Slay is a good one as well. I'll add that to the list. Anybody else that we think we would want to work with?
Oh, there's also this I just heard my own voice. There's also this youth organization called Zeneration. Wait, let me type it in the chat. And they have a lot of like beautiful. They're on Instagram. It's like Zeneration, but with a Z instead of a G. And they just have a lot of like beautiful posts, like it's like visually pleasing. Can you see? You see that? Anyway, but yeah, and they talk about like a lot of different issues, like sustainable fashion, body image, like a lot of the stuff going on in today's society.
So I know this organization. I'm not sure if you guys know about it. It's called The Door.
Oh yeah.
It's like a wonderful organization. They do so many different things. They provide access to reproductive health care, like legal aid, GED classes, college prep, homework help, job help. Like literally they do everything for free, and it's like such an amazing organization. They provide like mental health counseling. Those are some of the organizations that we want to think about, people that are actually like doing work in our communities. So I'll add them. And it's like all free. I know I went to them for like to talk to someone, went to them for like therapy sessions, and it was amazing, and I didn't have to pay anything. So.
Sorry, what? Can you repeat? Do you want to see an example kind of Canva thing, or do you want to do like a basic like how to work with Canva?
Can we see an example?
Sure. And this is not going to be an infographic post. It's just going to be a random poster that I made for something. Give me a second. Okay. get a screen share. All right, can everyone see? Okay, so this is a poster I made a few years ago, and it's a Model UN poster. Okay, so I know, Frank, I know. Okay, so over here we have different elements. So this over here is a globe thingy, right? And does anyone know how I found the globe thingy?
Can't you just like go on to like elements and then look up globe?
Yes, exactly, right? And I wanted one that looked like a globe. But then it's like, what if I don't have a globe thing? Like, what do I do if I don't have that, right? So then I would go to uploads. Yeah, I don't think I have any uploads here. But what I would do is I would save a photo onto my desktop and I would upload it here and then I would drag it right over here. I don't like this one as much. So we're gonna move to, I think it would be better if I just showed you from a thing. Okay, so this goes to Instagram post. All right, guys, pick one that you like and I will work on it with you.
Maybe the nature never hurries one. Or wait, actually, sorry, the life shrinks one.
Life shrinks.
Like in the corner on the right.
Ah, fantastic. Okay, cool. I've never full screen anything on my Windows, like on my Mac, so this is just like really bizarre for me. Everything is so big. Okay, give me a second. Let this load. All right. So, do we like this format? Actually, let's do immigration. Anna, what is something that you're working on regarding immigration right now?
What do you mean, like what we're doing our research on?
Any topic.
Immigration process, like the visa process.
Process, okay, cool. So what do we think of when we think of the word immigration and process? Yeah, go on. What are some colors, thoughts, ideas that come to mind when we think of that? And there's like no wrong answer to this either.
Sorry, someone was gonna speak, but I think like the word that comes to mind is like difficulty, and maybe colors, like something kind of dreary and drab, like brown or gray.
Okay, dreary, drab, brown, gray, and difficulty. They're all very valid points. First, what we're gonna do is get rid of this guy over here because we don't like him that much. I'm gonna move this. I wonder if I can backspace this right now because my computer is freaking out because I'm screen sharing. It's like, stop screen sharing. Okay, fantastic. We got rid of this. Got rid of that as well. Do we like this thing right here? Are we a fan? Yes, no, thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm hearing no opinion on this. That's fine.
No.
Not really, okay. What we can do is we can change the color of it later if we don't like it. So let's look up dark, see what we get. All right, we're getting all kinds of things. But does that really narrow down what it is that we want? I guess technically we could use clouds or rainy days, right? Because Because dark might be too abstract. So let's look up clouds. These kind of look like happy clouds, right? Yes, no, yes, no.
There's a cloud with a, oh, you can't use it.
I agree.
They look like happy.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
This one. Okay. So now it's like, all right, this is a nice cloud, but okay, I'm gonna move you guys over here.
Maybe the gray one, like on the left row at the bottom.
Here's the cool thing. You don't actually need to work with the color that they give you. I'm actually gonna move you guys. As in, when I say move you guys, I'm gonna move this panel right here so I can look at it. You guys see this thing right here? Does everyone see that thing that just popped up on the side of my screen? Yes, okay. Fantastic. Okay. So now someone said gray. Okay, now it looks like a sad cloud, right? Because it's gray.
Also, for those of you doing the scorecard, I just realized that the way how we structured it in terms of left wing and right wing can be a little bit confusing simply because they're both Democrats. But I want you guys to think of it as people that are more conservative Democrats and people that are more liberal Democrats. So instead of like left wing being liberal or Democrat and then right wing being like conservative, think of it as people that are more conservative Democrats and people that are more liberal Democrats. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe so. I'm gonna assume that it makes sense.
Thumbs up.
Social media, can y'all find a bar graph with some color? No hate to y'all, but I would personally, I like color.
Right, that's why I like the scorecard too. Add some colors, some images.
A little pizzazz, you know, give it a little seasoning.
Wait, didn't our scorecard have like a blue and then gray and then green color?
I don't think that was ours, sweetie. Wrong group. Wrong group.
But if you want to do that, I think that would be beautiful.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
We have around 10 to 15 minutes left.
And also, Melena, I know you mentioned that you wanna like, in the call to action, you wanna include the pitch. So again, just to keep track of time, do you think that you have an idea like how much time do you think we should focus on the pitch there in that section, or anybody else?
I think I'm gonna try to see how much time I can say it, and if not, I'll try to shorten it out. So I'm gonna do that right now.
Wait, so like for the things we're saying, like if we're not entirely sure what we want to say right now, can I just like work on it over the week, or like are we presenting this document so I need to say what I write in it?
You're not presenting this document. It's just a guide. I think the only things that we're going to be showing are probably the scorecards, like our whatever we draft for social media. So social media can be like bullet points or like pictures and things like that that we'd want there. And maybe the pitch. I'm not completely sure if we're showing the actual presentation for the pitch.
Okay, so I can just like, if I'm not entirely sure what I want to say just now, can I just?
Yeah, just leave a space for yourself and just write your name. But remember to work on it though.
Is this one better for you, Chrisanne?
Yeah.
The orange looks pretty.
So I tested it out, and it's gonna take me about 42 seconds to say the pitch. Is that too much, or should I shorten it?
I think that's fine because that comes up to like 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes so far, and then we have 5 to 8 minutes for the entire thing. So if you can get like everybody's pitch done within like the 4-minute mark, and then you have social media present for like 2 minutes, and then what am I forgetting? The scorecard for another 2 minutes, then I think that's good. If that makes sense.
So after we're done with the pictures, then we include the scorecards. Like we show the scorecards.
Okay,
You're
so
muted.
it's honestly up to y'all because this is your presentation essentially. But what I was thinking, if we're starting off really general, so I think we should end really specific.
Yeah.
So if we do like introductions, then pitch, I think it would make more sense if we did like social media, just so people can see what we do and like see what we talk about. And then the scorecard would essentially be like our way of showing these ideas. Or if it makes more sense to like show the scorecards to support the pitch in terms of like doing the research and getting the work done, whatever makes more sense to y'all can let me know.
So we could be like after the pitch, like take for example, the research we've been doing on these candidates, and then we show how we done research, and then we move on to our social media and how we try to impact other people.
Social media could be like, okay, going on from now, you can expect to see this, that, and third from us. Follow our Instagram at YVote NY.
Okay.
Also, if you or anybody else like wants to edit this doc, like at the bottom, to just like create like your own little agenda or something, just to have like a little plan, so you know like when and who was speaking. I think that'd be great too. So that the day of, again, it's not like silence and we just move with a flow.
I think that before we end it, like before we go back to the main room, we should do like a little run through so that we know like who's going and nobody's like lost.
Yes.
So we have, I think, around 5 minutes left. So do you want to start now, or do we want to give it like another minute or two?
We should start now, and then we could just, after we're done, add whatever like we need to fix or add on.
Okay. And remember to keep working on these links outside of today, y'all, because it's literally next week, and like next week is our last session. Oh, it's our last session.
For the summer.
Damn, oh my God. I did not know you were here. Oh my God.
I'll also share these links like via the Slack. So again, if y'all want to edit it on your own time outside of this, that would be great too. So Milena, Tali, and Catherine, if y'all, whenever you're ready, you want to practice right now.
Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Milena. Racial justice matters to me because I'm a minority that has grown up in a world where justice for minorities lacks, and together we can change that.
Hi, my name is Catherine. Racial justice is important to me because some people need to be more aware that racism can divide people within their own race, and that it's something that continues to occur.
Hi, my name is Tali, and I'm passionate about racial justice because racism has been embedded within our nation since founding and continues to fester within every aspect of society to this day, and it is time for that to change.
So you say you don't want to vote. Well, I do, and let me tell you why. You see these people, and then that would be like the slide with the pictures of the people that we did the slide on. What do you see in these people? I'll tell you what I see. I see me. These people are affected by politics, perhaps way more than you think you are. Kids are born into poverty, people with disabilities, people fleeing domestic violence, people being discriminated against, and people losing their jobs due to racial disparities, and so on. I want better things for those people, and you want better things for those people. Perhaps some of them are your own family members. And how can you say that you support them if you won't take 10 minutes to vote in their interest? How can you even look at them in the eye if you won't give them that much? If you truly care, vote and make an informed one.
Okay, so that's just like what we want. So I just said we want people to do more research on who represents them and how those people fight against a specific issue they care about in relation to racism. It's like that's like not exactly what I'm gonna say, but like that's what we want. I mean, I don't know how I'm gonna say it yet, but like
I think that's a good way to lead into the scorecards though. So then you could say, for example, like we want these issues pertaining to racial justice, and we've examined these two candidates.
Okay. So I just put your name there for now, but of course you can edit it, change it around. Feel free.
Okay, and also I'm gonna write it later, so.
I think that we should do like a slide so that day you're going to be sharing like our screen, and the slide starts with like racial justice, like the name of our group, and then it starts with like the pitch, like the pictures, and then goes on to whatever people want to share, like the scorecards within the slides, and then like the social media campaigns and everything, so that it's all in one and we don't have to be switching screens.
Okay, I stopped sharing that, but does anybody else have any like tips, advice, want to give any feedback as to how like people did right now? Of course, the day of, you're gonna do like 10 times, enthusiastic and all of that, but does anybody have any feedback for now?
Well, I have a question, and it just, are we also like, are we figuring out like who's presenting each individual aspect, like the social media, the scorecards? Like, is there someone presenting each of those, or like how is that being presented after the original pitch?
So does anyone from those groups want to volunteer to present for that? Because what I was thinking was that one of you guys, like Tali, Milena, and Catherine, you guys can each because Milena, you're basically already doing the pitch. So Catherine and Tali, you guys can pick social media or the scorecard, or if anyone else that worked on it wants to speak about it. But the difficult thing about someone speaking on it when they didn't work on it is that the information really needs to be there. So if you're working on the scorecard and you're not going to present it, make sure that everything is concise and it's clear, and the person that's going to present it isn't confused. Same thing for social media too.
Well, I mean, I can do I can talk about the social media campaign because I'll be working on it.
Okay.
And I can do the scorecards because we worked on that.
Okay. Good. Yay! Sandra, you're on mute.
I figured you could read my lips. I was just saying teamwork makes the dream work. I was impressed by how well you divvied up all your work.
I think that's not changing for a little while. But
So
you can
they don't
also
need to
make
be like
scorecards for the midterms because that's very important.
they don't need to be on like the same level for their job, right?
For the position?
Yeah, it doesn't need to be like the same level.
I think it should, but like you can make different scorecards for different positions, or separate the sections so they know this person is running for that position. Yeah. Like make it specific
so it's preferred that they're on the same level. Okay.
Also, I'm making a fake Instagram post and like an example of how it, how we would post on it. So yeah.
Okay, this is my last question.
Yeah.
For the pitch, so we're basically just gonna create a script of what we're gonna say, right? Like over the presentation, or do you want us to record it?
Yeah. So this should actually, that's what I was gonna say. This should be done before our meeting on Sunday, or almost done. Or if you have any issues, questions, concerns throughout the time where you're working on it, just shoot us either.
Slack us.
And we will be there to help you. But
her boyfriend.
He was Charlie. Oh my god, I still. He was. Okay, I can dig it. I said dig it like I'm an ancient, but I don't know. Lemonade Mouth was elite, but to come for High School Musical as a brand, like I had this.
Okay.
Wait, I thought it was like no mind. I'll just again stick to. I'm gonna type up more like presentation tips just for like. So for example, right on this slide, you don't need to put like every picture you find online in your presentation, right? You should be. I would say like you actually should be more selective about that. So again, looking at this slide right now, how easy is it for me to read that graph? And I have to like. For example, I had to like squint to look at that. Like we didn't vote because it won't make a difference. So I like that picture, right? But maybe it will be more impactful if I like, let me just copy. Like that screams something to me. That says something to the audience, right? And you don't have to like squeeze it to, you don't have to like relegate it to the corner of like one of your slides with like more information on it. I realize I'm focusing a lot of on graphics, but you know, a presentation is a largely visual experience, and so you know that's like important. like this way, I mean, by the way, I really do like this graphic. This is a really cool graphic.
Hi, Sandra.
We're coming back together. Is that okay for you guys?
Yeah, that's perfect.